Hello, active and attractive ladies. How are you guys feeling today? I'm feeling invigorated right now because I just got finished working out. No, just kidding. I did just get finished working out, and every time I move my body, I just feel so good. It's a wonder why I have little seasons where maybe life gets a little slower or life gets a little more tough, and I kind of like push exercising to the side. And it doesn't take me long to realize, wait a second, my life needs this movement because in order for me to get through this, I need to move my body. It just invigorates me, brings me life. And I didn't always feel this way, but I've built a relationship with movement and exercise and fitness that now it's a must in order for me to feel successful in my life. And so I'm just feeling invigorated right now. And I would love to hear from you. How are you feeling today? Genuinely, how are you feeling today? Where are you at in your process based on what we've been talking about around healthy feminine leadership? Figuring out how to take you as the leader of your life and the calling that you have on your life and leading that mission forward while also remembering to take care of yourself. It is a true wonder when we pursue the greatness that we know is calling us and we forget that we are the people that are in charge. When we're in charge, that basically means that we are at the front of the charge. And when you're at the front of the charge and you forget that everything else cannot follow or fall forward without following you, then it makes us think, okay, wait a second. I have to take care of myself. I have to feel good in my leadership. I have to make sure that I'm really showing up. Hello, Rosemary. Happy 4th. It's just like Rosemary. We've talked about this all the time, but it's really a matter of remembering I'm at the front. I'm at the forefront. And when I'm at the forefront, other people will follow. The universe will follow. God will follow. Ideas will follow. Things will follow when I'm at the front. So it is a must that I take care of myself. And so in my case today, I'm like, I had to work out because I got a lot going on. I got a lot to do. And if I don't make sure that I feel my best, I can do things. I can take action, but it's not going to feel as rich and it's not going to feel as potent when I do encounter those of you that I feel called to touch. So inside of this community, what we're doing is we are talking about how to make sure that you are healthy in your leadership, you remain feminine in your leadership where it's necessary, and you also maintain the value, the impact that you are able to create as a leader. If you haven't heard me talk about healthy feminine leadership, what I mean by that is that the healthy part of healthy feminine leadership is that you always make sure that you are well, you are aligned, you are connected, you are supported, you are provided for, and you feel well in your pursuit towards greatness. The feminine side of leadership is that you don't just take action just for the sake of taking action. You do it in a way that feels good for you. This is unique for everybody. Everybody has a different style. Everybody has a different way in which they show up. And when you don't know who you are and you can't connect into that, it's very difficult to feel good when you're taking action. You've probably related to this when you are on someone else's team or you're helping build someone else's dream. And you go to the ends of the earth to make sure this fall happens. And you notice that once it's all done or at the end of the day, you feel burnt out, you feel exhausted, you feel tired, and you can't seem to understand why you're not being filled up. There are needs that you have. There are ways that you're supposed to do things. You might be fitting in roles that you don't belong in. When we don't align with ourselves and what is natural for us and what makes us feel well while also caring about that and doing something about that, shifting that and standing for that. When we leave the health and the femininity out of healthy feminine leadership, we just start leading. And leading is what's necessary. This is the part of us that's taking action, taking names, making sure things follow through, calling on vision and bringing that forth. Sometimes when we do that from a place of effort and we don't consider the first two, we end up falling off. So as a leader, what we want is that you are creating impact, but we want to get you to where you're creating effortless impact. It feels effortless for you to create an impact or an influence on other people. So there's certain people you feel called to. There's certain people you feel like you could help. There's certain ideas you have or solutions to problems in the world that you see very clearly. And you're like, if they would just change that, or if they could just see what I see, The beauty in your vision, in your ability to see this clearly, and the rest of the world doesn't, means that you are meant to lead that mission. You are meant to lead that nuance into the world so that other people can benefit from what you understand. Now, whether it's a piece of music, whether it is an idea, whether it's a strategy, whether it's a perspective, whether it's wisdom, whether it's a helping hands, whatever it is that your specific gift is that the world needs, if you put yourself in a position of being responsible for making sure that gift gets out into the world, this is what makes you the most impactful version of a leader. So, what is impact? This is the conversation we're going to be unpacking over the next month, or over the next 2 months, truthfully, because when you understand what impact really gets to look like for you, we end up realizing, wait, impact doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be forced or effortful. I know for me, growing up in high school, when I was always looking for ways to help others, I was always looking to find different ways to reach other people, to join an organization, to be a part of a club, to, listen to a friend and sit with them in the depths of their problems, really be present with the things that weren't going well so that I could be present with the person so that we could make it go well. I was very much a woman of impact because I wanted to see change. I wanted to see people happier. I wanted to be of service. I wanted to help where I could. I was very intelligent as a young woman. And so I was always able to do a lot of things, but that didn't mean I needed to be doing all of those things. My lack of self-awareness put me in positions where I was eager to support. So I would take on a lot of things that necessarily weren't for me. And although I did them and I did them well, I could have done them better if I had stayed in line with what's truthful for me. So impact in that season felt like exhaustion. It felt like me running around, chasing everyone, chasing everything, reaching for opportunities, being invited to help here, being invited to support there, and never knowing my boundaries and my limits. Impact then in my life, in being a young leader, was effortful. It felt heavy. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about when it's like you want to be present, you want to be available, you want to be supporting, but it feels heavy. Impact has the capacity to feel heavy. But what I want to share with you today is that impact doesn't have to feel this way. If only I knew as a teenager and in my early 20s that my impact, my ability to help people, my ability to change the world, my ability to transform the lives of myself and of the lives of others, if I knew it didn't have to be so hard, I really think I would have experienced a completely different life. I feel like I would be at a completely different success point in my career. I think I would have spoken out more and been more bold in the way that I built my business or my brand. I think I would have reached and met more of a variety of people. I would have gone out and not have been so afraid, would not have been so shy and not sure in myself in order to interact with people that I didn't feel like I was qualified for. There's so many reasons why I think seeing impact as effortless is so important, because when it feels heavy, when it feels overwhelming, as the health coach, I'm here to say that means it's not healthy for you. But when it feels light and it feels easy, it makes us kind of want to go la 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 la, skipping from one person to the next person, almost like sprinkling fairy dust on people, saying, you're impacted and here's my influence and here's my influence and I hope it helps you, and moving on to the next thing and the next thing without feeling so much dread, without feeling so much self-doubt. Rosemary says, I have seasons like that when I overstay or even try to please others first. It's energizing. Yes, when we're really in a place of flow, when we're in a place of connection and we don't feel like we need to convince people, like you're saying, Rosemary, that was my thing, is people pleasing. I need to make sure I'm right here with you so that you know that I love you, so that you can feel love, and then that'll be the impact. It's like there are other ways to allow people to experience love. There's other ways to allow people to experience revelation. There's other ways to create space for people to come into their own and develop autonomy and create their own transformation. And it's not all dependent on me. I did not have models of what it looked like to really be healthy in leadership. A lot of times leadership is marketed or showcased as this sacrificial thing that we need to do. But what if every single person on this planet was a leader in their own right? What if the person who said thank you at the grocery store to the cashier in a way that you caught and it sounded so genuine, and it made you question, wait a second, how intentional am I to talking to a stranger and letting them know how thankful I really am? What if that person who said thank you first was still a leader? The way you talk, the way you move, the way you take actions, the way you take care of yourself, the way you make choices, these all add up to what is observable in you as a leader. And everything that is heard from you and everything that is observed from you is an opportunity to impact another. Impact gets to be as simple as you living your life at its greatest potential. Potential meaning not fast, not hyper, not over-energized, not over-exertive, but you resting in the value of who you are. Knowing what lanes you're meant to be in, knowing what communities you're meant to really be present with, knowing where you're meant to be and not choosing anything other than that. Having standards, having a stance, loving yourself, knowing your story, sharing your story, being open and available for other people to come in and have questions because you've taken care of yourself at such a level that you have the energy to give when you are requested. What if your impact got to occur through influence? This is where we begin to dance with effortless impact, because you just being here, just speaking, sharing, connecting, you have no idea in what way you sharing your story or sharing your thought, you have no idea in what way that could be impacting someone else. So the question is, how do we break down impact? Because it's such a big word. If you've been following for a while, I know Rosemary, you have, if you've been following for a while, you will see that there are a lot of layers that I talk about that build us up to this place to truly get to a place of effortlessness in our impact. What I want to see you, whether you are a mother, whether you're a wife, whether you're a daughter, a business owner, a creative, support, a counselor, whatever it is that you do, I know that you know the details of what it is that you really feel called to do in order to help or service the world. In that, the question would be, how clear and how comfortable are you with that knowledge? A lot of times we feel like we see other people being successful in their business. We see other people being successful in certain aspects of motherhood. We see other people being successful with money or with love. And rather than asking ourselves the question of, what do I feel called to? How do I want to show up? How do I want to be in this world? We end up looking around at other people and their avenues of success, and we try to mimic that. The first phase to get to effortless impact is understanding that you have a presence that gets to influence people. But the best way to have a presence, to own your presence, to stand in your presence, is by knowing what your presence is and then being willing enough to take care of that presence. The first pillar of leadership is presence, and it composes of your identity and your health. When you know who you are, what you stand for, where it is that you're going, what you've seen, what matters to you, what you desire, what you love. And you also know what gift you have to bring to the table, and you value that. It's very easy to see value in yourself. When you see value in yourself, this makes it so much easier to take care of yourself because you see yourself as an asset. You see yourself as a gift. And if you don't see yourself as a gift, you see yourself as a vessel who carries gifts. This ability to really get clear on what makes you you and not trying to be anyone else but yourself is what allows health to be something that's very easy to access, because you see that when you take care of your body, your energy, your mind, your words, you tend to your relationships, your home, everything that matters, you amplify. You feel supported, you feel alive. And this allows you to be more willing to be seen. The second pillar of leadership is visibility. You being willing to be seen by everyone because you know that when you look at yourself, you like what you see. And when you are able to see you, others are able to see you. The second pillar of leadership, being visibility, is comprised of two parts. The first part is you knowing your message. Most of the time when we hear message, we think of, oh, what is my brand message? Or, oh, what is the value system I carry? Oh, what is it's there, that exists when you know who you are. But your message is as simple as you having thoughts, having opinions, having perspective, and being willing to speak that. Your message is seeing something that you like and expressing it. Your message is having an idea and expressing it. Your message is seeing something in a different way than how the world sees it and being willing to say it. Your message that comes from the truth of your identity is more easily expressed when you know yourself and you're taking care of yourself, the first pillar. So your message is something that we want to get to a place where you're flowing. You're flowing it here, you're flowing it there. You're speaking it here, you're speaking it there. You're going, you're talking, you feel confident, connected, and comfortable in what it is that you have to say. But the piece about this is the second part of our visibility pillar is that when you put yourself into different situations, you may notice that when you're talking to a friend, it's so easy to express yourself, but then you go into a room full of professionals and you shrink up. The second pillar of visibility, or the second phase of visibility, is consistency. Can you be consistent everywhere you go? Can you speak your message in every room, with any person, with any context, under any situation? Can you continue to share what it is that you see, think, feel, and want to do? And can you do it comfortably in a way that satisfies you? Visibility is scary. This is where most entrepreneurs stop. This is where most women in the dating world stop, because there's a level of wanting to cover up, a level of hiding, a level of wanting to keep ourselves safe. Visibility means that you feel safe within yourself so much that you don't care what people see. There's nothing to hide. You know who you are. You know what gifts you bring to the table. You're willing to take care of that. You tend to it. You speak it. You speak it. You speak it. You continue to share what you think and who you are. And you can do it anywhere you go. When you get to the bottom of this second pillar, what it leads you to is a place where, without even trying, your message, your story, your perspective, your insights, they begin to penetrate other people. They begin to have an impact on other people. They begin to infect or affect other people. The third pillar of leadership is what we're going to be talking about over the next 2 months. Impact. The entire point of being a leader. It's the point in time where you recognize with intention that what you do and what you say affects other people. Now, if you look at the pillars and how they're stacked, when you know who you are and what gifts you have, you know what message you're bringing to the table, you can speak it anywhere, and you find all of this valuable enough to take care of yourself so that you can continuously be a functioning machine that's spreading the good news that you carry. When you get to this place, it's almost like I want to share with everybody who I am. Not because I'm better than anybody, but because I carry something that I know that I needed when I was young. I needed aspects of myself. I wish I saw what I saw now. I have a story that I've overcome. I've had conflict and strife. I have walked up a mountain to get to where I am today, and the level of embodiment that I am residing in, I only wish other people knew what I now know. It's funny to me that we really only think it's okay to get to this point of wisdom when we're in our 70s. A lot of times there's people who are older that when they share their wisdom, we sit down and we say, tell us more. You've seen things, you know things, you've experienced life. Tell me, what have you seen? I think a lot of people believe that we need to wait until we are a certain age, until we've earned a certain right, until we've hit a certain rite of passage in order to qualify ourselves as enough to then be able to share our wisdom. But the truth is, my friend, you have already lived a life. 30 years of life, 25 years of life, 45 years of life, 50 years of life. Every year you are producing story, because every year you are walking towards your goal. Every year you're walking towards your destiny. Every year you're fighting to get out of your holes. Every year you're remembering the times that you've overcome things. Every year you are haunted by your past. Every year you choose to still show up. And when you show up, you are ready to be a light. You are here. You have gifts. And those gifts have been trialed. They have been errored. They have been tested. And you are still here. In your pursuit up the mountain of embodiment, doing your darndest to make what you know is you present with you, truth within you, unshakable within you. There are stories. There are stories. There are stories on stories on stories, and moments on moments on moments, and experiences on experiences on experiences. You have enough to share that would impact someone else. Your effortlessness comes from your awareness and your connection to your process. And this is what we're going to begin to intro this month. Is the first part of impact is your awareness and your connection to your process. Do you believe? Do you know that you already have a process to share with people? A step-by-step process, a step-by-step method, a step-by-step experience that allows other people to see in their own mind that it could very well be possible for them. Effortless impact, the best leaders are the ones who have already walked the walk. And what most people think they need to do is to make this shiny experience, this shiny method, this shiny way of being in order to be good enough to share the steps that they took to get to where they're standing. But when you're operating as a healthy, feminine leader, there's peace. There's an acceptance. And most importantly, there is a knowing. We're going to talk about this today, and I want to see what Rosemary said. Rosemary says, when I'm not taking care of myself, I have less impact because I operate reactively instead. What if we led from a place of responsibility? We are choosing our responses because we know who we are. We know where we've been. We know why this is our belief. Knowing and loving and trusting and feeling grounded in yourself is the most potent form of impact. Because if you teach things that you yourself have not completed, you can get people to the points that you have completed. But you have to know that you can't get them all the way there. The most impactful leaders are the ones who have run the race. The most impactful leaders are the ones who have already reached the top. A lot of us know how to get to where we want to go. Very few people have actually done what it takes to walk the walk. And this is the most important piece to leadership. Rosemary said, I'm going through this right now in my family, which is my current sphere of impact. And I love that you find value in your family, because a lot of times when I'm talking about leadership, a lot of people think, thousands of people, millions of people, I'm impacting millions of people. What about your own children? What about your husband? What about your home space, owning that space? How many times have you been in a situation where your mother is telling you what to do, how you need to do it, how you need to live your life, and she does not have a drop of what it is that you want? She tells you how to love, but you don't want her relationship. She tells you how to manage your finances, but she doesn't have the wealth that you want. She tells you how to be a better friend, and she doesn't have the relationships that you want in your life. This is not to harp on mothers, but it's to emphasize the fact that there are people in our lives who they try to lead us. They try to tell us which way to go. They try to direct us into how to live a better life. But there's a reason why there's this resistance when you hear from them, because when you really think about it, animalistically, our body's like, but you aren't it for me. You don't have exactly what I'm looking for. So people can speak from what they know, because there's a lot of examples out there. There's a lot of things that we think we need to do. The problem is most people don't actually have the result. They don't have the tangible fruit. They didn't climb to the top of the mountain. They don't have the scars and the moments of stress and tests and experiences where it got hard. So they can only speak in imagination, but you can feel it when a leader is speaking from their chest, the chest of experience, because those people aren't pushy. They're not naggy. They're not judgmental. They know. When they speak to you about where you could go, what you could do, typically they don't even tell you what you need to do. They tell you what they did and what they experienced. And in listening to that testimony, you are able to put yourself in their story and decide for yourself what you think you need to do next. Impact is most influential when it comes from the realm of story. So Rosemary said, this is very helpful. This must be how my oldest feels. Most of us as parents, most of us as caretakers, women who care about who's listening, we have the friend who's going through it again. If you've never experienced a rough relationship and you're telling your friend to just get out of it, you've never experienced an abusive or rough relationship. It's much harder than just getting out of it. People who were saying, well, you should have your business figured out right now. Why don't you have it make more money or go back and get a stable job? Those people don't understand what it feels like to have a burning desire that you can't take away in your heart, and what it feels like to push through the discomfort to finally break through to the other side. True leadership comes from people who have what it is that you're looking for. Now, this is not to discredit anyone who's trying to support us on our path in ways that don't quite match exactly what we want. Some people might not have the exact result, but they have a dimension, a fragment of what it is that we need in order to go on our journey. So for example, what I mean by that is, let's say, Rosemary, I'll use you as an example. You were trying to, let's say I'm making up a whole scenario, guys. So this is not her situation. This is not her son, but this is what came to mind. So let's say, Rosemary, you're trying to say, in order to have a healthy relationship, son, you need to treat a girl like this, and you need to do that, and you need to da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's say that's what you're doing. And your son is like, but mom, you don't know what it feels like to be a man in this situation. Okay? Truthfully, that's right. You don't know what it feels like. However, what could be of value in order to help him on his journey, maybe not to the top, but part of the way up, what you do have the gift for, what you do have a grace in, what you do have an anointing in, is compassion, is listening, is to be present. The best leaders know where their lines start, and they know where their lines stop. So sometimes we might find ourselves trying to push people we love into areas that we've never been. But if we realize that our gifts, this comes back to the first pillar, if you know who you are and you know the gifting you currently can bring to the table, you stay in your lane. Your atmosphere carries more of your truth than any concept you can imagine. So if you know what you think he needs, but you realize there's a resistance, a lot of times the better way to go about it is to say, you know what? I don't know, son. I don't know what it feels like to be a man. I can only imagine, but I don't actually know. What I can say as a woman, though, what we love more than anything is a sensitivity and a compassionate ear, and I can show you that. The best leaders know where they stand. The best leaders know where to no longer tread. The problem is, yes, Rosemary, fragment. We have to recognize we are not all parts. Everyone is a part of a whole. This is what makes impact or effortless leadership so much more fun, because I only get to be responsible for compassion. I don't have to be responsible for the other bits, right? It's like recognizing that it's a tribal situation where we all get to learn and we all get to teach, and we don't have to be responsible for anything more than what we experienced. So honoring that and owning that, most likely in this hypothetical situation, Rosemary's son would have a much stronger ear for what she has to say, because Rosemary would be speaking from her chest. She has the experience. She knows what it's like to hold compassion. She knows what it's like to struggle and have a difficulty with listening to people in the different ways that they show up. She could speak to the highs and the lows. But what if in impact as a leader, we realize that we're only here to speak on what we've already experienced? The first phase of impact in the 3 pillars is that when you know your process, when you know your story, when you know what it is that you can speak to and what it is that you probably shouldn't, this gives you a much tighter range to work with, and we're able to stand more confidently and grounded in our strengths and release the things that we don't need to be responsible for out to other people who have the story, who have the gifting, who have the knowledge. What this provided for me when I got to this place was my original experience was strapping everybody and anybody of all types, of all walks of life, everything on my back, and I'm going to carry you up to the top of the mountain. We will figure it out. And what I learned is that my impact had so much more, I had so much more impact when I didn't take on the responsibility of carrying people, but I spoke life into them based on where I've been. They could take it, they could leave it. But the most effective way I can lead you is by knowing what it took to lead myself. You could hear the fear and the people who love you the most, when you feel called to go in a direction nobody in your family, nobody in your immediate proximity has ever gone. You can hear people trying to lead you with their fear versus the people who have already walked that road, and they look at you and they say, oh yeah, I remember when I first started. Oh yeah, it's hella scary. But don't let that fear hold you back. Keep walking. It's going to get really weird about halfway through. I know exactly. You got to cry about it. Oh, people out of fear, like, oh my God, you're crying. Don't, you should stop. You should stop. People who've walked the path would say, nope, keep crying and keep walking. You've got this. Keep going. Keep going. Go through it. The difference between people who have walked the process and people who have not comes out in the way they lead you. Now, this is no discredit to people who care. It's the only way people have thought to care. But what we want to do here in this community is to begin to shift this narrative, because what it allows is that when you stand in your own strengths, you stand in your own strengths. When you release your weaknesses, you get to say, I'm not responsible. What this does is it allows you to feel more like you have a backbone for what you have to say, and you have more trust for the things that you really don't know how to say. What it's opened up for me is realizing that as a leader, I don't have to do it all. I don't have to know it all. I don't have to even have experienced it all. But in areas where I can see a big picture, but I do have a contribution of a fragment, I will speak to the fragment and consciously say, I cannot speak to any other piece of your journey other than this one thing, and I hope it helps get you there. The truthful leader does not feel responsible for someone else's journey. The most impactful leaders are compassionate, present, and giving, in the sense that we give what we have to give and nothing more. If you were to give things that you do not have, it's like giving faulty equipment for a journey up a mountain. You're going to provide tools to people you love that are broken, that are only half. You might give them a rope that's only 25 feet when they need 50 feet in order to reach this certain hard part on the journey. You might give them shoes that have a laughing front because you didn't know how to sew and mend it, and they're going to need those shoes. Really, it's going to be important that they have those shoes further up the journey. When we provide value in places we've never really walked, it seems like it's well intended, but it's not rooted in experience. So resting, how do you rest when you care so much about someone, but you want to lead them, whether it's your clients, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family? How do you rest in the fact that, wait, but they got to go there, and I want to help and I want to be there? The only ways that you can improve yourself in order to make yourself more ready for what it is that people are experiencing is that if you want to be able to speak life into people outside of the areas you have experience in, you got to go get your experience. You got to go get it yourself. You've got to go do exactly what you're suggesting to do and see what it takes to really get there. I can coach someone on how to run 26 miles, but the way I want to teach is I want to have done it myself. Because when my clients come to me and they say, Sammy, I don't know if I can keep up with this. Oh, I can find the parts of me, the fragments of me that could speak life into them and say, you know what, just keep going. But I know that there is a level of conviction, of truth, of compassion, of empathy that will be so much greater that when I myself have gotten to the same distance and I question myself, what voice did I have to hear? What voice did I have to find to speak life back into myself to then finish the race? That's the same voice that I want to be able to speak to my clients. I don't want to manufacture that. I don't want to make that up. It might get them there, but effortlessness in my impact would come from me having gone through it myself. Most people think that it's hard to support others, that it's hard to lead others. What's hard is to lead ourselves. But once you've done it, once you've paved your way up the mountain, once you've gone up and touched the top once, you can see the path that you've walked when you look back. You see all of the steps you took. You see all of the places where you doubted yourself. You see all of the risky moments you had to take to go the distance, to take the leap. You felt the branch break when you almost fell off the cliff. You remember when the air started getting thin. You remember your process. And then you go back down and you do it again. Now you have repetition. You go back down, you do it again. Now you know that you can do this again and again. You go back down, you meet somebody at the bottom of the mountain, they say, hey, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to conquer this. I want to embody this. You say, you know what? I've done this enough time and there are parts up there that get really scary. But I want to invite you to come with me. I think I can bring you along. You walk that person up with you. You're able to point at places where they should look out. You should be able to find the little hideouts where you can stop, slow down and take a rest. You can share with them the process as you're walking alongside of them with it, but you're not moving their legs. You're not strapping them on your back because they don't know. You are allowing them to experience it the same way you experienced it, but with a little bit more guidance. In that regard, climbing up a mountain with someone standing next to you versus them standing on your back, effortlessness. If you want to reach higher heights, if you want to impact more people, if you want to have more influence and allow people to witness and experience what you know to be true in your spirit, you yourself need to make that manifestation happen first in your own life. It's going to be the most potent way to create an effect that feels effortless for you. And what is so beautiful about the effort being in the work for yourself is that you get the grace, you get the benefit, you get the fruit of what it took to produce this amazing thing in your life. And it is almost like child's play to be able to share that and walk through that with other people. The work should not be placed on you influencing others. The work should happen in the beginning. And then when other people show up, like, oh yeah, I can go up that. You want to walk with me? Come on, let's go. Oh, wait, you need that backpack. Nope, don't wear those shoes. Nope, brush your hair, put it up. You got to get it out of your face. It gets really weird up there. When you lead people that way, they're ready. They can follow you. It's effortless for you. So Rosemary says, yes, to believe you can be all the things. Everyone will lead to disappointment. They will. They'll weigh you down and you're going to feel the exhaustion. But knowing who you are, you can communicate what you offer and bring and really communicate where you're coming from, which leads to a healthier relationship. What is so beautiful about visibility in the beginning, Rosemary, is that visibility starts off with words and observation from other people. The impact phase of leadership is when you are walking with other people, and you're moving alongside with them. It's no longer an exampling per se. It is a let me help you see every step. And I can hold ground. I can hold my confidence, and I'm not afraid for you because I myself have walked this and I got all of my fear out when I walked it for myself. I'm not afraid for you. It's going to get hot. It's going to get fiery. It's going to get scary. I'm not afraid for you. I think you can do it. And I'll show you what I know, and you'll find out the rest of the way. Rosemary says, self-awareness is a whole thing. It is so necessary. I can only plead for others to know themselves well first, and then it will start to all make sense. Everything. Rosemary, what's so cool about our PVI, so presence, visibility, and impact model, is that when you yourself walk through each of the steps, identity, knowing who you are, world building, mastering all of that, deciding deciding and defining who you are. Wow, that was hard to say. Deciding and defining who you are, feeling comfortable in that, feeling safe in that, identifying your gifts, loving yourself, finding your words, finding your world, taking care of your world, building your world, supporting your world. When you've done that for yourself, then it'll be so much easier to help someone else do that for themselves, because you know they can't really reach impact in a way that feels authentic and true and easy for them without that. So when you build your own world, you then become a master to be able to help other people build theirs when it's time. When you love your world, you take care of yourself, you feel like you are valuable and worthy enough. You start to say, man, I can't be slowed down by this food. I gotta move my body. I'm feeling tense. I can't be stressed right now. When you do that and you start to take care of your health, you realize that, wait, what it took for me to start taking care of my health effortlessly is a new process. It is a new story. It is a new point of impact that I could help others with. You can become the woman that's so mastered in her presence that you can help other people do the same. Second layer would be visibility. When you start feeling so mastered in your presence, you can help people find their message, speak their minds, share their voice, become expressive, be comfortable taking up space anywhere and everywhere that they stand. You can help people when you do that yourself, and you can do that yourself and reap the benefits of what that will bring for you in your world. And then when you get to the point of impact, and you're able to help people uncover their stories, uncover their process, uncover their value, uncover their ability to walk side by side with people without taking on other people as extra weight, but doing it in a healthy way, you then are able to help others be able to do that for themselves. Everyone's process to getting to this looks so different. And I'm going to tag down below the visual for what I'm talking about. I'm referring to mountain a lot for a reason. For those of you guys who don't know, the Active and Attractive logo is a triangle with a circle on the top. And where it came from for me was realizing this concept that I'm sharing with you here. There's something that you want to embody. There's something that you want to have in your life, have available for you in your life, whether it's confidence, whether it's health, whether it's laughter, whether it's intimacy, whether it's joy, whether it's peace. There's something in your life that you want to have and to hold, and for that to be a part of who you are. That is the something that you desire to embody. You don't want to just know it. You don't want to just understand it. You don't want just the science of it. You want it to be a part of who you are and how you function, how you think and do. You want it to be that essence that you feel every day, because you know you're going to become a bigger and brighter version of yourself when you do this. But there is work that is required in order to obtain that. It's not as simple as knowing I should be happy or knowing I should be positive or put myself out there. There's a physiological and psychological process into working yourself into making that a part of your lifestyle. And so the work, I've always seen it as walking up a mountain. You got to walk up the mountain, and there are points in the mountain where you're going to experience a landslide. There might be parts of the mountain where you fall off and start at the bottom. There might be points where it's really easy. There might be parts where it's very steep, but however you find your path up that mountain of embodiment, you get to the top, and this is the point where you have embodied. The circle at the very top of the Active and Attractive logo it's a circle because once you stand up there, that presence we talk about, that radiating aura is very bright, and because you're at the top of the mountain, everyone can see it. It's this beautiful moment in time where you put work in and you love yourself and you try to love yourself and you try to find peace and you try to try. And then one day you wake up and it's there. People tell you, oh my gosh, you're so different. Something's changed in you. What have you done? What is the thing? That is you starting to create impact. You're visible. You've figured it out. And when you can look back and see, what did I do to get to where I'm standing? And this truth and this knowing and this unshakable now part of my identity. What did I do? This is your process. This is the story that you share with people. That when they say, Rosemary, Sammy, I love your style. I love how you speak. I love how you do things. I love how you make decisions. I love how you choose yourself. What did you do to get here? It's your process that will come out of your mouth. Everyone's process to peace is going to be different up that mountain. Everybody's process to confidence is going to be different because we're all coming from different sides of the mountain. We all have different stories. We all start from different stories. When you find and scrap your way up to the top, you're going to experience teachers, people who are part of the way there. There are people who are going to be all the way up there. There are going to be people who have gone up and down so many times, and you're seeing them go up and you're seeing them come down, and you're like, wait, come, let me follow you. Like, you're going to encounter people that are playing and billy goating on this mountain. People are sliding off. People are falling. You're going to see it all up the mountain. It's kind of treacherous. But when you know what you want and you know what mountain you're here to embody, you will find your way. And so realizing that some people are part of the way there. Some people are all the way at the top. Some people, they've made this their home. When you see that other people are at different places, you're going to start to realize, wait, if these people are at different places, then that means I'm at a different place. I'm in different places in different seasons in my life. I'm constantly coming up and down, or I've been stuck here for a long time. When you see where you're at in the areas that that really matter to you, the areas that you want to change, when you can find that difference, this is where you start realizing, wait, if they're leading, whether they're stagnant or not, that means I'm leading, whether I'm stagnant or not. So you get to teach from the place in which you are. Are you halfway up? Have you just not even started? Are you sitting there waiting for God? Are you sitting there waiting for someone to yank you up? Where are you at in your process to some of the things that you want? When you can identify that, this is the place you can speak from. This is the process you have to give to people. You might be on a weight loss journey and you can speak very, very confidently about getting started. You might not be able to speak yet to the place of how to finish and follow all the way through to the finish line. If this is something you want, now your mission, your journey is to be able to get and figure out how to get to the end. When you get to the end, you've completed your story. This is your hero's journey. This is the piece that we're going to talk about next week, where we define and decide what your story is and the different areas that matter for you. This is perfect for mothers who want to help encourage their children out of hard seasons in their life. This is incredible for people who are business owners and who are saleswomen, people who want to sell a story or sell a brand story. When you speak from your experience, it's so easy to draw the words out of your mouth. But if you feel like you have had a hard time sharing about your brand or your business or an offer that you have, it's probably because you're thinking outside of yourself and you're trying to imagine what's the right thing to say rather than knowing what you experienced yourself. The most potent message you're ever going to have with people is what you've seen. It's all that we really care about. And when you're grounded in your story, when you're grounded in yourself and your experience, no one can question you. When no one can question you, that means they are certain, and it's up to them to decide, do they want to follow your process or do they want to go find someone else? All is okay. All is okay, but this is how we excel in our resources of finances, energy, connection, love. All of that gets to excel when you understand where you're standing on the mountain and what you have to teach people as a result of that journey. So Rosemary says, showing up to my habits with a smile, transformation is an opportunity. Oh my God, I'm telling you, the more you focus on yourself, you will be amazed at how your life just starts popping off. It is the wildest thing. From a recovering people pleaser, wildest thing. It happens to me and I don't get to create it. That is what I am working on thanks to you, Samantha Nicole. I love you. I love you. Seriously, the more you focus on yourself, the more you focus, you make yourself beefy. You make yourself strong. You make your personality sturdy. Your character gets developed. That's all people are looking for. Which of these characters out here real? People want authenticity. They want to follow someone that's not doing smoke and mirrors and glitter. We want people who are real and who are solid because the world is looking for real. It wants to evolve into the direction of truth. So as you develop and define the truth of you and your process, this is where we're going to see a completely new effect that you have on those around you, because you know where your boundaries are. It's not to put you into a box, it's to put you into your zone of genius. You stand there confidently knowing you don't have to take care of it all, but I will speak. When it's my turn to speak about what I'm here for, you speak it, and you've got it, and you get it, and you're good. And you serve your purpose, and you allow everyone to rotate around you the way they're meant to. And you walk up that mountain in an active way, get to the top, people see you, oh, you are attractive in the sense that you attract people who need you, and you allow people to be attracted to the qualities and the traits and the values that you have to offer them. This is where active and attractive came to be. Triangle, mountain, circle, aura, you standing on the top of your mountain. We're going to create more impact here inside of the group. I love you guys for being here. Rosemary, thank you for being here. Everybody watching the replay, let me know what you think. And what I would love for you to do is, in order for us to have productive conversations over the next couple of weeks, we're going to continue to talk about process, because this is the first phase of impact. In order for us to clearly define your process, I want you to define what mountains of embodiment have you already conquered, and what mountains are you currently working on or want to start working on. The mountains are going to sound like words like confidence, peace, strength, selling, marketing. Let me see. I keep getting a picture of like painting, like techniques, like painting techniques. Maybe you're an artist, right? They could be skills or they could be characteristics. But the mountain idea is that we are building and walking up what it takes to be able to embody the skill or the characteristic. So it can be a multitude of things, but I want to see what your mountains are that you've embodied, that you feel confident in, that you feel comfortable in, and then identify the ones that you're still walking up. Like, there's more to go in order, before you're like, no, I got this. I got this, right? I can do that in my sleep. I can parent in my sleep, right? In a way that you feel good about. What are the mountains of embodiment that you're walking up right now that you have either set aside for the last 10 years, or the areas that you feel very good about, but you just know you still have a little bit left to go? Or the mountains that you haven't even started and you've been staring at the base, just waiting for the day that you just want to start doing something about it, right? There's always something else that you want to accomplish. So what are the upcoming mountains that you want to focus on? When we can identify those, that's going to help us go through the narration that I'm going to talk to you about next week. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Here is to becoming more active and attractive. Y'all, I love health. I love health, but I love health so that we can get to this conversation. So these are the big ones. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys share. I will see you next week. Here is to becoming more active and attractive. We'll talk soon. I love you. Bye.